I'm Melissa and welcome to Oh My Word Melly. And here I am again with another fun and bookish video. I went through a journey with an audiobook and I am here today to give you or like to talk about my audiobook experience, the pros and cons, and to finally let y'all know if I enjoyed reading a book, listening to a book, whatever it was. So, without further ado, let's see what I thought. There are so many book formats out there, like starting from hardback, paperback to mass paperback, and then also moving into ebooks and also now audiobooks, and like so many formats out there for anyone who wishes to get into reading. It is such a flexible and easy thing to do. And y'all know I absolutely love reading on my Kindle. When I started off BookTube, I'm not sure if y'all remember, if y'all have been following me since I started in 2020, y'all definitely know my thoughts and how my reading changed. Like, I started off only loving physical books and I wouldn't even dare reading anything if I don't have the book. And then I went into the Kindle and I just absolutely fell in love reading on the Kindle, and I still prefer it more than reading the physical book. So back in December, I started listening to the Christmas Wish by Lindsay Kelk. It was one of her latest releases and I absolutely love Lindsay Kelk. And the ebook format that I got had some sort of like formatting issues that was driving me insane. So then I thought, why not try the audiobook of it? That is why this video is here today, so that I can talk to you about my experiences with audiobooks and to share all of my thoughts, the pros and cons, and let's see. So I read or listened to the audiobook through Scribd because I got a 30-day free trial, which is actually expiring next week, and I'm still contemplating of whether I'm going to renew it and continue my subscription. But still, out there are other platforms like Audible, Hoopla, and Libby, I think, from my research what I got to know, but I have not checked them out. I know Audible is a bit more costlier compared to Scribd, but they do have most of the books. So if y'all do want to like check out audiobooks, Scribd is more better, I think, compared to Audible, because more books are available in this region compared to Audible, where most of the books that I don't know, rather what I wanted were not accessible to our region. So check it out. Both platforms have a 30-day free trial, so y'all don't need to pay anything, just need a credit or debit card to link it at the moment. And then start. First thing about audiobooks is it's convenient and it's so easy when you have so much of work to get done but still want to have some time to read. You can basically listen to it, just plug in your earphones or your AirPods or your earbuds, whatever, and just do your chores, maybe like while traveling, etc. So it's like amazing when you want to multitask and also get some reading done. So what I did was, when I was walking to the top to go to work or while traveling to work, I used to just plug in my AirPods and get walking. And then while traveling as well, I would just continue like that until I have reached office or work. But so no matter how convenient that was, and like while doing anything else, like just plug it in and listen, which was really amazing, I actually couldn't pay attention. So like just think while walking, all I was like, I'm trying to listen, but I also have to pay attention to where I'm walking on the road, as well as when doing some other work. I had to like the amount of concentration that I had to pay or put into this audiobook was like really intense. You get easily distracted, like you're listening and like we'll say sweeping the house, and then you see something, you are totally distracted by it, or like you're focused on what you're doing, that paying attention to the book is the least of your priority at that time. So it's very easy for you to get distracted is what I thought, because I was like constantly getting distracted. And then I'm someone who tries to get some reading before I sleep. So audiobooks before sleeping was an utter no for me, because like with the Kindle, if I try to do that and I just fall asleep, somewhere or the other, the Kindle falls to sleep and I know where I stopped. But with the audiobook, if I fall asleep while listening, it will still continue playing. And when I wake up or realize that, oh my god, something is talking in my head, and I was like listening to an audiobook, I will have no clue whatsoever where I stopped listening or like at which point I fell asleep. So then finding that point is an utter mess. It happened to me so many times that I was like, oh no, I would just remember which chapter I was in, and then we'll have to go to that chapter and then keep like fast forwarding 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds, and then listening actively, like, oh my god, like listening, okay, did I hear this part? Am I sure did I hear this part? And then there were times where apparently I have heard that part, but it's like I said, it's very difficult to pay attention, that I didn't even realize that I have listened to it. So I had listened to that entire part again to realize, didn't I hear this part before? But oh my word, the falling asleep one was like hilarious, because you wake up to some weird noises or someone talking to you in your head. A bit creepy. And like really like paying attention was so difficult, that especially when I was traveling to and from with the noises of other vehicles and people talking around you, like I really couldn't pay attention, that I just anyway took the ebook on the Kindle and started while listening going through word for word for word. uh, that actually helped me pay attention to the story. I don't know, I found that the connection I normally have with a book when I am reading the physical book or even on the Kindle, I did not have that connection with the book or like the storyline or even the characters when I was listening to an audiobook. And because of that, I think the amount of retention I had for the story, or the amount like how much I remember of the story, is very less, almost to nothing, uh, compared to when I read a book separately as a physical book or an ebook. Like I know the gist of the story. I wouldn't be able to give you all the like infinite details which were there. I would just tell you, okay, the Christmas wish was simply like someone stuck in Christmas over and over again, repeating until she realizes what's going wrong, like a Groundhog Day kind of thing. And I wouldn't be able to give you more on that. Like, so even for me to review this book, it's a bit difficult. Oh no, not a bit, but like it's really difficult, because I cannot tell you anything about the plot or the style of writing. I can just tell you that I didn't like a character, but I wouldn't know to say if it's actually like I didn't like the character, I just couldn't bond with the character because of the audiobook. So I cannot give you a review. So that part is there, because the retention I thought is less compared to the concentration I had to give for the audiobook. So my next pro for audiobooks is, oh my word, I love the storytelling aspect of it. Like if you think of your childhood, or like go to like libraries now and you see like a bunch of kids surrounding someone who is reading out a book to them, like with all the dramatic flair, the emotions and all, like you love that, right? You would sit and listen. Like as kids, I know I loved when my mom or my sister was reading a book to me, and I know my nieces and nephews like that too when my sisters read to them. So that feeling is there when you're listening to an audiobook. Like the narrator puts their flair on it, right? They are not just simply reading the book, but all the gasps, the thrills, the excitement, the sadness, the sorrows, all are there in their expressions, in their voice expressions, which I loved. Like that storytelling aspect on with audiobooks is amazing. But I know there are going to be so many buts. That is if the narrator of the book is actually splendid. There are books that I have come across, because this is not the first audiobook that I have gone through. I have tried listening to Inner Holidays by Christina Lauren as a audiobook, and a few other books that, like Rich Dad Poor Dad. I can't read nonfiction, so I try to listen to nonfiction. Those narrators were just like very mechanical or robotic that I just couldn't get through to them. Like, whereas in The Christmas Wish, the narrator was somewhat good, because I did enjoy that dramatic flair that she did. So if the narrator is not good, I don't think the audiobooks or the audiobook would work, and you will be like really struggling, and you will have to DNF it. In this audiobook, like every character had their own voice and like a different accent, which really gave that wholesome feeling, or like that holistic feeling, like of all the characters, rather than having just one flat voice reading it out. So that experience was nice as well. But as a con to that, y'all know we all have our head voices, right? So when we are reading a book, we imagine, or we come up with how each character looks, each character sounds, and the narrator's storytelling voice might not portray the voice and the look and feel of the character that we have in our head, and that would make it even more like difficult to relate to, or like to continue with the book, because your head voice and your imagination is like not portrayed or not brought forward by the narrator. I did not have that issue with The Christmas Wish, but I did have that issue with Inner Holidays when I tried to listen to that audiobook, and that was another reason I didn't continue with that or go through with that. So that's why the narrator is very important of an audiobook, and an audiobook is heavily dependent, and we have no way to change the narrator unless the author has like a recorded the audiobook with multiple narrators, which is most of the time highly unlikely. Scribd had this feature where you can change the pace or the speed of the audiobook, which I thought was really amazing. And I was told that even Audible has that feature, and normally most of the audiobook platforms do provide that feature. So you can like, so your normal pace will be like one times the regular pace, and if you want to go faster, you can like go from 1.5 to likewise, and if you want to go a tad bit slow, you can go to like 0.5 speed. So that was a cool thing. Only the thing was, I listened to the entire book on the normal regular one speed. uh, I tried going to 1.5 and 2, because I started realizing, like at the point where I took the Kindle and started following the story through whilst listening to the audiobook, that I ended up reading fast on the Kindle, and the audiobook was simply just catching up. So then I increased it to 1.5, which I still found a little bit too slow compared to how fast I was reading. And then uh, two times or twice the speed was a little bit too fast, and I could not configure the speed or the pace of the audiobook to match my reading pace, so that I went back to one, and I reduced my reading pace to match the audiobook. So that part was a little bit iffy for me, but I still preferred like the regular or the normal speed compared to the fast speeds, because it's like I'm like no, I may read fast with my head voice, but I couldn't follow along. Like I was already struggling to pay attention to the regular speed, and that was just not cut out for me or working out for me. So you can adjust the speed, but it depends on how your reading pace is as well. You will have to adjust on that. So next pro about audiobooks is definitely the portability, like comparing a hard book to a paperback to a Kindle, and likewise then an audiobook, right? So an audiobook is definitely compact. It is in your phone, and you just need what earphones or your whatever earbuds, AirPods, whatever you carry around. and that's it, nothing additional. Like if I take a Kindle, that is something additional to what I have to carry. And then stuffing a paperback or hardback into a purse or like a handbag or a bag is like another task of its own. Like we have to make sure the book doesn't get damaged, and I can guarantee you guys, I have gone through a lot of damages after like chucking books in bags. So compared to all of those, an audiobook is way portable friendly, or like super in portability. Go, you anyway carry your earphones, you anyway carry your mobile. I don't know, I do. So in that way it was such a plus point, but I did miss that tactile feeling where I flip through the Kindle or flip through the book, or have that weight in my hand where I'm holding the Kindle. Like even though I was like holding the phone and listening to it, that didn't cut out for me, because there was no flipping of pages or moving to the next page. It's just a continuous flow, even though it is portable, unlike the Kindle, which is also portable, right, compared to carrying books around. With an audiobook, I couldn't do any highlights or like mark down places or scenes that I thought were memorable. Like I'm someone who reacts or has like small notes. Like you all know, even on my physical books, I have sticky notes rather, because I don't highlight or underline or write anything on my books. So I have sticky notes. Then whereas in the Kindle, it has an inbuilt feature of highlighting like quotes or scenes and adding notes to those as well, which I really missed with the audiobook. But then when I started following it with the Kindle, then I used to pause the audio, take my note down, because the audio keeps going, right? It's not going to wait for you to take your note down. The next con about audiobooks is accessibility, right? So when we take physical books, it's always the we have to wait for, like we have to pre-order it. And not about only pre-ordering, like even audiobooks and ebooks you can pre-order. And like you, for physical books, you pre-order, it releases, and you still have to wait for the book to arrive to you, or like the book gets into your bookstore so that you can go and buy it. But when it comes to ebooks as well as audiobooks, it's like instantaneously accessible once it's released. So that's another plus point. But when it comes for us, like people in Sri Lanka, what I noticed is Scribd does have like some of the trending books available, which is a good thing. But if you take Audible, not all books are available. They tell you, sorry, it's not available for your regions. I have heard people saying one reason they like about audiobooks is that they don't need to have that hassle of going to bookstores and finding the books. But when it comes to me, I think that is something I enjoy doing, just going through the books, touching the books, and getting that the bookish smell. I know I might be sounding like some weirdo who sniffs books, but guys, y'all get what I mean. So yeah, anyway, like I do enjoy that constant trip to the bookstore. I don't know about you, like let me know. And also, I don't mind that hassle of the pre-order and waiting. I do read the ebooks also, which is like instantaneously available, but I enjoy that thrill of having that excitement of a book being released, and like, oh my god, rushing and pre-ordering, and then impatiently like waiting on the, jumping on the balls of your feet until the book is delivered or you receive it, and like you have the book in your hands. So I do enjoy that. That is something you wouldn't get with an audiobook, and not only an audiobook, even with an ebook. Audiobooks tend to be a bit more costlier than even a paperback or a mass paperback or even an ebook. When I wanted to get the Christmas Wish, if I did not have my Scribd subscription and I had to actually buy the Audible book, like the audiobook was like 14.18, whereas the, I just have the stats here, whereas the Kindle was just like $9 and the paperback was also just $9. So I would have rather bought the paperback, waited for it to be delivered rather than paying that amount for audiobooks. But still, again, that's your preference. there is a big cost incurred in recording audiobooks, which the authors or the publishers have to bear. So I do understand the price point, but I'm not saying it's very economical, at least not for me. By now, you all must have realized that there are so many cons in comparison to the pros of reading an audiobook from my experience. And if y'all don't agree with me, that is totally y'all's opinion, and I respect it. And I would like to actually discuss it. Maybe my opinion, my experience would change based on that. And like, I would definitely give audiobooks a try going forward, but I won't say I'll actively listen to only audiobooks where like I do with ebooks and physical books. There are too many cons that outweigh the pros of an audiobook. That doesn't actually do it for me, and that is one of the experience that I gained. And I'm like so happy that I did go through this entire book as an audiobook, because I did gain that experience, which was very easy for me to now finally justify my reasons more solidly. And with that, we have come to an end of today's video, and I hope y'all enjoyed this video and my thoughts, my experience of all this audiobook journey. If y'all did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share my video with friends and family so that more of you will be able to show some love to my channel as well. And also, if you want to see more of my videos, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on that little bell icon down there so that you all will get notified every time I post my next video as well. And with promises of more bookish fun in the coming weeks, here is me signing off for today. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great week ahead. Bye from Oh My Word Melly.